2. What's going on? It's your boy Booda back in the building for another Last Cloudia news and information reveal. Just as we speculated, the new divine beast Lagreign is coming to Last Cloudia, and I'm very excited to review this beast's kit with you all and then discuss it, see what you guys say in the comments, and make our initial judgments on how this guy seems on paper, right? There always needs to be testing in-game before we can really know how a unit performs. However, let's start the video and see what this guy is bringing. Looking crazy. Divine Beast Lagreign. Very dope artwork. Very, very dope. Claws of Havoc, 6 hits. God Howl, 14 hits. And Abyss Impact is 18 hits. Magna Tyrion is looking wild. I mean, come on. 52 hits AoE is not bad at all. Looking at the traits, starting with Divine Black Lightning. Thunder damage plus 40% and damage cap plus 5,000. During skill and special attacks, chance to deal thunder extra damage. Whenever taking 5% of unit's max HP, boost break and thunder damage cap. This gets up to 300% and damage cap 10,000. The boost does not reset each wave, so that will be nice as you accumulate it. And, of course, the effectiveness of this will be totally determined on how much damage cap and break percentage Lagreign is actually getting on this 5% decrease in max HP. Also, does the 5% max HP count if it's self-inflicted with things like Berserker, or does Lagreign actually have to take damage from enemy units, because there are certain effects that have that differentiation. So again, these are things that of course need to be tested. However, if they come to fruition, those are some nice boosts. I don't know what kind of kick Adel is on with these conditional boosts with raises. 300% conditional break, right? Like we just had Mia with her weird scaling break. So let's move on. Ravening. Nullify criticals taken. That's an interesting one. When unit has a debuff and or status ailment, damage taken minus 30%. Chance to nullify flinch from magic attacks. Boost thunder damage cap up to 10,000 based on number of debuffs and or status ailments on the unit. So this trait all over the freaking place. Another 10,000 potential damage cap. So just in his 2 traits alone, while it's extremely conditional, you have the potential at 25,000 cap, which is pretty crazy. I imagine he's going to be a dual wield unit, so looking really nice. However, it's not going to be consistent. And if I know anything about Adel, they're not going to be generous with this. Other units that need like debuffs and or ailments to reach those full realized potential damage caps or damage boosts, it's usually very incremental. I'm thinking of Melee, right? Melee, her potential max cap is insane. However, you're going to see it 1% of the time only if you're setting up completely for it, because you need freaking 15 plus ailments or some crazy amount in order to see that. So I imagine they're not going to be very generous, right? Depending on how generous they are can really impact how this guy looks in game, but I'm not expecting the world is what I will say, right? Fool me once, shame on you, but fool me twice, no thank you. The nullifying criticals taken is interesting, right? Usually we really like nullifying slayers, of course, because that's just decreased slayer damage. That's minus 100% damage if someone has slayers against you. But nullifying criticals seems like it has potential to me, because I do tend to run crit builds in places like Arena, and those crit pops can really spike the damage output and like one tap a lot of the enemy teams. So nullifying the criticals, putting all damage on a level playing field, is an interesting notion as well. And in PvE, you can get hit with criticals as well, although it doesn't pop up as the same type of critical damage icon. You do take crits, right? Enemy AI do have crit chance, so he's going to survive well in any of those kind of PvE stages. The abilities, we have his skill 1 Claws of Havoc, we know has 6 hits, frontal, long range, thunder combo attack, God Howl, wide area thunder combo attack around the unit, I think was either 14 or 15 hits. Skill 3, Abyss Impact, charge and deal a frontal wide area thunder combo attack that launches enemies into the air, and that had 18 hits. Very, very similar move set to Divine Beast Ray, especially that skill 2 and skill 3. Skill 1's different because it's a long range, right? I imagine it's one of these where he can launch it from anywhere and he throws some kind of projectile towards whatever enemies he's hitting. We'll have to see if that pierces. I don't think it did based on the animation. But God Howl seemed like a slower version of Divine Beast Ray's S2, and the skill 3 seemed like a bit sped up compared to Divine Beast Ray's skill 3, and very similar kind of animation that the unit plays out. Special is Magnetarian. We saw 52 hits, powerful thunder combo attack to all enemies, and keep in mind all of those boosts we saw in his trait are thunder damage boosts, which means it's not just locked to physical type damage. He can get that if you want to throw a nice little 52 hitter special towards thunder weak enemies with those types of boosts if you're able to set up for it right. Again, we have to see how easy it is to achieve those certain caps in game, but that damage does apply to the special, which is something to note. And of course, the best part of a unit, the skill board or unlockable skills. Divine Beast Anima, all enemies thunder and dark resistance -20. Hallelujah. This guy is viable for me immediately. So this is the first since Shift Eliza that we have seen that lowers resistance not only 1 element but 2, and it makes sense, right? With how Lagreign is allied with Loug Zeus, obviously lowering dark resistance along with his own being thunder makes a lot of sense. Very, very viable. We have a ton of amazing dark units and even other thunder units. Recently, Mia's going to look incredible with this guy, especially if this guy can become a breaker with some nice innate break damage. You've got Mia enabling break along with them both being thunder elements. That's a good little pair right there. So I can see some great combos that you can achieve with this anima already. Wings of Ruin, ice and thunder damage taken -20%. When taking thunder attacks, chance for next skill's damage +20% and damage cap +2000. That's definitely not a damage boost that I'm going to be even thinking about considering as a consistent cap, because just thunder attacks is very niche. So that's one thing. The ice and thunder damage mitigation will be nice when you're taking on challenging bosses of those elements or any enemies in general. So okay skill. God Divide, STR +10% and physical attack damage cap +1500 per living god type allies other than the unit. So not too difficult to achieve if you just want to slap god mimicry on your team and achieve this for those units that aren't already innately god types. So a very nice damage boost and damage cap just for a little extra 2 SC on each one of your teammates. I'm the toughest around. Battle start. If unit's STR is highest in party, another physical attack damage cap +3000. So, very interesting. We've had these units that play off of a single stat being the highest. I'm thinking of Shift Gorm giving his defensive buffs. I'm thinking of Saintly Lilibet giving her Slayer boost to the member with the highest STR. So they're going to synchronize well with this kind of play off of STR, although Ray's is subject to himself. So this may be one of the rare units where you want to make sure he has the highest STR. He's definitely, like, you're going to see in multiplayer which Ray has the highest STR. Everyone's going to be STR flexing. For single player, that's very, very easy to achieve, I would say. Hopefully he'll come with a very high innate STR stat, so then all the attack up boosts scale that up very easily and nicely, so it doesn't require too much SC input. Blitz Stance. Draw more enemy attention, and STR +50% and defense -25%. So interesting. He's lowering the defense, increasing the STR. I think we're going to be seeing a much more attack-focused Lagreign compared to Divine Beast Ray, who was a bit more damage mitigation. It's not very cohesive to have damage mitigation, but then also lowered defenses, although Like, I'm looking at Wings of Ruin. That's all ice and thunder damage, so defense is only specific to physical attacks taken. So there is a bit of specificity that needs to be thought of. However, with a skill like this, and especially with I'm the toughest around, like, you want that turned on. So I want all the STR boosts that come innate in his kit. I'm looking forward to seeing how high this guy is flexing his STR stat. HP up max, attack up max, fighting spirit 5, critical up 3, proud force, aim vitals, patience 2, auto brave, auto haste, and auto crit. Great SE saves. Quick trigger, blessed speed, pose of glory, awaken, beastly banquet, very nice, adversity. Oh wow, so this was actually just unique to Aaron from the Attack on Titan collab. When inflicted with a status ailment, plus 20% for physical attacks and special. Divine Beast of Destruction, so I called that out in the DB Ray showcase, so this guy can't faint on his own, which is incredible. Dual wield innately, there it is. Claw boost, Claw mega boost, Thunder drive, Thunder attack raise 2, Thunder attack raise 3, and Thunder critical raise. Break boost, Destroyer, and Diabolos. So not bad at all right there. Diabolos given that nice chance to ignore defense as well as attribute resistance. Now 15% chance isn't crazy, but that coupled with his anima, lowering Thunder res, is going to pair nicely, right? I don't think this guy is going to rely on Trishula, which is great. And then, of course, I'm looking at Destroyer and thinking about his increasing break damage depending on that 5% HP loss in his trait 1. So is this guy going to have innate break damage that's worth talking about? We'll only be able to tell when he's in game. But for DPS and breaking, just like a better version of Mia. However, Mia and this guy, I think, will work very, very, very well together. Also, I think Tweacz pointed out, I remember he was talking about a skill called Wrath that we just recently saw on Mia. When a party member dies, inflict rage ailment on self. So, I mean, do you want to, like, murder Ray? Will that activate some of that trait 1 boost? And then he comes back with a rage, which is counted as a status ailment, giving another 20% STR, minus 20% to defense. It was available on the Ark released alongside Mia. So, quite interesting. It feels like Mia and Ray were very much timed together and thought about synergistically, now that I'm thinking about it. So, quite interesting, quite interesting. I think we'll have to see some interesting combos in game. We'll have to test them out. But let's move on to the Ark. Uh-oh, sponsored Booda incoming. Let me not take up too much of your time. Just wanted to share some exciting news that your boy is officially an Amazon influencer. That gives me the ability to make Amazon lists. So anything that I purchase, I can also recommend to you guys. To start out, I've listed out items of my personal streaming setup. So any of the items you're interested in seeing me use to film, create, make videos, do my Twitch streaming can all be found in that shopping list. Even if you don't want one of my items that I recommend, any items that you add to your shopping cart within 24 hours of clicking my affiliate link is just an easy way for you to send a little commission to your boy if you were already planning on shopping on Amazon in the first place. Thank you so much for listening. Excited to see what items you guys check out. Let's get back to the video. Another UR. I was talking with Tweacz this morning. He pointed out that we've had 6 UR releases and 6 permanent Ark releases, which is just a disgusting ratio when you're thinking about free to play and budget spenders. Like, it's not a good look. Adel, that's the kind of stuff that makes people say, oh, game's pay to win. I'm either uninstalling or just not even going to try the game overall. So, not a great look. However, the Ark itself looks fantastic, of course. They do a great job there. We have Divine Beast Baalmeight. I hope I said that right. The Ark trait during status ailments, damage taken minus 15%, max HP plus 20%, STR INT plus 5%, up to 15% per living god ally other than the unit. I really, really, really despise the amount of like stat increases they're giving to these UR traits, right? I'm thinking about the Ark released with Shift Roland, Ark being Dravana. given that 50% to STR over time, rather than the original Dravenah given that 50% to physical damage boost. That is just so much more effective, as we know, than throwing stat sticks, especially on URs. For me, I don't know about you guys, it just feels bad. Battle start, give reverence buff to god type ally with the highest strength. While unit is alive, give that ally physical attack damage cap plus 2000. So is that all it is? Like, the reverence buff isn't anything but to activate the trait that's in this arc? That's what it kind of sounds like to me. I don't know if reverence gives something else. Yeah, there's no skill called reverence, so it seems like it's just that random buff that then activates this effect from the UR. So, okay. Arc skill, powerful thunder attack to all enemies. Damage cap plus 15,000. Give thunder attack. Thanks, Vanguard. Give thunder attack damage plus 30% to all allies. Give damage taken plus 20% debuff to all enemies. Interesting, since I feel like the arc skill it's obviously relevant to Lagreign. However, that's not Lagreign. That's an entirely different divine beast, and it doesn't look like it's of the thunder element. So I don't think the arc skill was for this Baalmeight or whoever this is. I think they obviously did it for Ray, but it's kind of messing with my continuity itch. Learnable skills, extra attack boost, giving 10% to extra attack damage. That's interesting. If we're getting into skills that raise extra attack damage mods, I'm intrigued. 10% isn't crazy, but I'm more just looking forward into the future if we can get a bigger extra attack boost, right? Extra attack mega boost and given wild multipliers, and like your extra damage is now looking insane. Skill 1 breakthrough. Skill 1 gets a damage cap of 500. When only one weapon is equipped, damage cap plus 1000 instead. Oh, nice that they compensate you if you're running single wield versus dual wield. So that's something. Fast high vitality, battle start, autocast high vitality. I think that's plus 2000 HP cap, but okay. Thunder enhance, thunder attack damage plus 10% and skill damage plus 15%. Quite a nice boost for your thunder units, so good skill. Mimicry God, which is appropriate, and Berserker. So here's the thing. Them putting Berserker on this arc, which is obviously tailored for Lagreign. Keep in mind, just because arcs release alongside units does not mean it's that unit's arc, right? A lot of units, yes, they synergize with the arc that is released alongside them, but we have plenty of cases where the arc is literally not optimal for that unit at all. I'm thinking of Lennius and the UR Appel, right? A lot of people summoned for Lennius, got the UR, paired them together, threw them as their support, and thought they were doing a good job. Appel does not do super well on Lennius. It's not really made for him. There are plenty of better arcs, right? And that's just one example out of many I could list. So with that in mind, I don't want to get too hopeful, but however, since this arc seems very tailored for what Lagraign's kit entails, I would hope that Berserker can proc Lagreign's trait 1, right? Because Berserker is a minus 6% HP if I recall. No, it's a 13% to 15%. I'm sorry. So that if you hit 15%, that covers the 5% at least that they're asking you to lose in Lagreign's health. So, you know, that would be a perfect synergization unless he has to actually take damage from enemy units, which would completely nullify that synergy and make placement of Berserker here feel like an absolute troll. So just want to set up that expectation in case it doesn't quite work as I'm hoping. And the AER is Baalmeight Hulk Bolt. This is a spear attribute thunder, and the trait gives physical attacks an anti-soldier and sniper type effect. Stats STR 285 and defense 66. I mean, again, we need clarification because I'm not going to get super hopeful until we test it. Last Cloudia is notorious for putting physical attacks in the trait, but then the effect only works for your regular attacks. You only get anti-damage for your regular attacks, even though it says physical attacks. It seems legit and official now that we have these showcases, but again, I don't want to get too hopeful, right? When I use an S1 with this spear and I don't see the weak icon pop up for your slayer or for your anti-damage, and then I only see it pop up for the regular attack, right? That needs to be tested because there are so many items in the game that have an incorrect description like this. But if it is essentially soldier and sniper slayer just on a weapon, that's quite crazy. I mean, that's literally an 18 SC save built into this spear. You're going to be seeing this a lot in arena, so quite interesting AER. And that is the showcase for Divine Beast Lagreign. Dope little outro animations. What we're gonna do now is jump over to one of the best resources we are currently getting, courtesy of the homie Tweacz. These character breakdowns, we now have one for Divine Beast Lagreign. The voice is Wataru Hatano. I guess he's someone. This guy has that voice? What? Ah, he's from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Of course, I think this is just the same actor that we've always had for Rey, but always good to shout that out. And of course, we can see the notes that Tweacz details after these initial impressions. So starting at the top, trait 1 notes. Chance to deal Thunder extra damage. If it's anything like DB Ray's trait, it should be a 20% chance for a 100% Thunder pursuit, attack on skills, and special. That's quite nice. It's not bad at all. That's just literally a 20% extra damage, Thunder damage for using his skills. So he gets stronger as he gets hit. Interesting. Naturally will be more useful in longer battles like Kraken. Trait 2 notes. Love the nullifying criticals, mostly for PvP, aka Arena. So throwing a debuff or ailment on him at battle start could be nice. We'll need to see how many max out his cat boost. My guess is 5, 2,000 each. I feel like that's being generous in all honesty compared to, my thoughts in the beginning of this video. We see the hit counts for the skills, 6 hits, 14, and 18. Obviously, those will be 12, 28, and 36 dual wield. 52 hits. Imagine if he had true dual wield. Oh my goodness. But we can only dream. The innate dual wield physical damage caps get up to 26,499 with the sword, I would say, reliable damage cap boosts. Super conditionals, though. If you can max out the trait 1, the trait 2, and get the Wings of Ruin on chance, he can reach up to a 48,499. And at a dual wield cap with these kinds of hits, my goodness gracious, you're looking at some serious damage. Now, he wasn't dishing out these skills in the quickest fashion, I would say, compared to many other units. So that's something you got to keep into consideration. However, I'm not mad at this range of damage cap for him, right? Between 26,499 and 48,499. I'm very, very, very comfortable and happy with that. That's very, very comparable damage to our current meta. So here's the Lagreign summary from Tweacz. A very interesting Thunder PDPS. He has a bit of a different kit than what we're used to seeing. A lot of ramp-up potential with his damage taken and debuff ailment boosts. Lots of conditionals damage boosting. Should be interesting to see how easily those numbers can be achieved. He should hit pretty dang hard when they're fully boosted. Complete lack of slayers, but does he even need them? Super unsure. I'm a big sucker for attribute dropping animas. Amen. And this is the second one since Shift Eliza. Well played. Should be very interesting to test. Need to see skill spammability, skill speed, and innate break. Cheers! Cheers to you, my friend. I just covered that entire thing as I read it, but too bad, so sad. He actually did write some notes for the Ark stuff here. So regarding the trait, he says, I feel like the damage cap can be stacked with multiple iterations. So we'll have to see what he means by that. Extra attack boost, he likes it. Skill 1 breakthrough, new damage cap skills, we'll take it. Thunder enhance, one of the stronger offensive enhances. And then finally, he says, LOL, free soldier and sniper slayers related to the Hulk Bolt Spear. Which, yes, if it is the actual slayer effects, you're looking at quite an interesting AER altogether. But those are going to be Tweacz' initial thoughts on Divine Beast, Lagreign, as well as your boy Boodas. Like I said, I want to see y'all's thoughts in the comments below. Kind of a lot of information to understand, digest, and process. Like Tweacz said, this is not a kit we're used to seeing. Very conditional. I talked with him, said the same thing. It reminds me a lot of when Melee released, right? Because she's so reliant on dealing ailments and getting exsanguinate on the enemies. It's very conditional. However, she resulted in a very, very good and fun unit, and I'm speculating that this guy's going to do the same. Is he chase worthy on paper? Absolutely not. You guys know the general rule of Last Cloudia is that DPS units are a dime a dozen. You can expect another one to be released very shortly after that's either going to be on par or better, maybe a little worse, but still on this like new level that can carry you throughout the majority of beginner to mid game, even some late game content without any issues, right? However, will he be an incredible asset for a roster when you're more focused on fleshing that out? I think so. I think so, but let him come to you. Remember, these DOH units will be placed on the off-banner pool 6 months after they're released, as well as come back on certain selectors. I imagine he'll be returning on the White Day banner because, I mean, he is considered a male beast. So I imagine he'll be there for the next returning March and potentially on any future DOH selector unit ticket banners, which we haven't seen one in quite a while. Maybe they're outruling them, but we've seen them in the past, so they may return, which is why I always say you can get a very, very, very nice discount just for exercising some patience if you really want this guy as a free-to-play or budget spender. But I think that's all I got for you this time, guys. Like, subscribe, turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss when I post a video. You won't be out of the loop in case of critical Last Cloudia information. You guys know we started a new journey with Monster Hunter Rise on Twitch, so make sure to check the link in my pinned comments for any directions to how to get to those extra platforms for your boy Booda. And with all that being said, y'all know what we say: work hard, play harder. See you in the next video.